What's up, y'all? So today I'm going to be showing you how I'm going to go about taking the single outlet that you see in here behind me, and I'm actually going to be adding an outlet there. So I'll have two outlets instead of just this single one, just to have more outlets to plug things into here in the garage. Now, I did in the past upload a video that some of you may have already seen where I wired two outlets together in one double gang box, but I did get some questions and some comments on that video from folks wondering how I went about installing that, removing the previous box and the previous outlet, and then installing that new double gang box, installing the new outlets, and of course wiring them together. So I'm just gonna go from start to finish, from removing all of this and then installing the new box and of course wiring up the new outlets. Now this is how I'm going to be doing it. Of course you need to always check with your local code if you're going to be doing a project similar to this, just to make sure that you are doing it right. And of course, if you don't feel comfortable with it, always consider hiring a professional. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Let's go. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to shut off the circuit breaker that's supplying the electricity to this outlet that I'm going to be working on here and ultimately removing. Once I've got that power off, I can remove the front plate, and then I'll take a multimeter or a voltage detector and just make sure that that power is in fact off. So now that I've confirmed that the power is in fact off, I can now remove the outlet from the box and then remove all of the wiring from the terminals on the current outlet. Now that all of that has been removed, now I need to figure out which side of this box my stud is on. Now this is called a new workbox, and the reason it's called that is because it was installed when the house was new or it was being built. And new workboxes use nails driven into studs in order to hold them into place. Now the reason I need to figure out where that stud is, I know that there is one here, is because when I take my new old workbox, I need to know where I can extend this current hole to, whether it's this way or this way, to make enough room for this box to fit in. And there's a few ways that you can go about doing this. You can either take a stud finder along the wall here to figure out which side the stud is on. In this case, I've got a gap here where I can actually see through, and I can see the stud through this little hole here next to the box. So I know my stud is on this side over here. Or you can also look for nail pops in your drywall. That's a good indicator that that's where a stud is at as well. So now that I know that my stud is over on this side of the box, now I can take my old work box that's going to be installed and line it up with the current box that's in the wall. And once I've got that set into place, just take a pencil and trace around the box to know where I'm going to be putting my hole in. Now that I got those lines on the wall, now I'm going to take my drywall saw and just cut out the hole along the lines that I traced. Now I've got the hole cut, now I have room to get the current box out of the wall. There's a couple ways that one can do this. You can either pry it out using either a pry bar or even a screwdriver, or you can also use like an oscillating saw or a sawzall. Although I would caution when using those types of tools to be very careful when doing that, because you don't necessarily always know what might be in behind the wall. There may be some plumbing, there may be other wiring. So just need to be careful if going the power tool route. All right, so just a couple of things to go over real quick with how these things work. In order to get these to sit in the wall and hold so that they don't move and they can't be pulled out of the wall, obviously we can't put nails in like with the new work box that we just removed. These old work boxes, the way that they work is once it gets pushed into the wall, you start turning these screws here. There's two screws. You start turning it to the right like you're going to be tightening the screw down. And what that's going to do is it's going to flip up this little lever, or this little wing here. And there's also one down here. And that's going to go in behind the drywall. Then as you continue to turn these screws to the right like you're tightening them, that's going to bring this lever, this wing forward to basically sandwich the drywall in between this and this front lip here. So that's really going to hold it in place really nice. Then you've also got these little tabs here on top and these tabs here on the bottom. This is basically where the Romex or the wiring gets fed into and then also goes out of the box. All right, so now I'm just going to do a real quick dry fit just to make sure that it fits, and it does. So now what I can do is pull my wiring out and then feed it into the box. Now that the wiring is all fed into the box, now I can push it into place and then tighten down those screws that I talked about. They're going to flip up those levers and tighten the levers up against the drywall to hold this box into place. All right, so now that I've got my box firmly in place, I got my 2 sets of wires running into the box, my feed wires, and then my wires are going on to the next outlets. Now it's time to start wiring up the outlets themselves. So I'm going to show you how I personally wire up multiple outlets in one box. All right, so some people, when they wire 2 outlets together, what they do is they'll hook up one to the feed wire, and then they'll take some jumper wires to then connect from the other terminals to the second outlet, and then connect the wires going on to the second outlet. I don't do it that way. I want my outlets to work independently of each other, so that if one goes bad, if that first one goes bad, it doesn't affect this one working, and it doesn't affect any on down the line. And I achieve this by using pigtails, and pigtails are very easy to make by using extra wire that may be left over from wiring your wall or whatever it may be, but you want to use the same size wire as what is running through the wall itself and on that circuit. And I've got one of each color wire for each outlet. So I've got one hot, I've got one neutral, and I've got one ground for one outlet, and then one of each for the second outlet. So I'm going to start wiring up my pigtails. I'm going to start with my ground wires. I'm going to take each of the ground wires that are coming out of my box here, that are coming out of the wall, and then I'm going to take my 2 pigtails, which I've already pre-bent these for the terminals on the outlet. I've got this side though that's straight still. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take all of these ground wires and I'm going to put them all together. And then I'm going to twist them all together. Then once I've got them started twisted together, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a wire nut and I'm just going to put it on top and then spin that on, which is just going to further help twist them together and connect them all so they can't come undone. Now, some people in some jurisdictions don't like using wire nuts or twisting all of this together. They'll use these quick connects here where you just take each one of the wires, so each one of the grounds would go in each one of those holes and it connects them all together. I personally just do not like using these as much as I like using wire nuts. I guess I'm old school, and all the electricians, at least in my area, are still using wire nuts, so that's what I'm going to use. So now I've got all my grounds together, I'm just going to take that wire nut and where they're all connected and just shove those back into the back of the box. Alright, so now I'm going to take my white neutrals and I'm going to bring those together that are coming out of my box. And then I'm going to take my white neutral pigtails. I'm going to do the same thing that I did with the grounds. I'm just going to put them all together like this. And then I'm just going to twist them all together as well. Now I'm going to take another wire nut and put that in on top. And it's not a bad idea to wrap some electrical tape around the wiring and onto the wire nut. Just make sure that it can't spin off, and it makes it less likely that the wires can fall out. So now that those are all done, I'm just going to shove that back into the back of the box. So now all that's left are the 2 black wires coming out of the box, and I still have 2 pigtails to go to each of the outlets. So I'm going to do the exact same thing that I did with the previous wires. I'm just going to put all the black wires together and then twist them together. Now I can push those into the back of the box. So now I can start wiring up my outlets. There's nothing real special about these things. These are just your standard tamper-resistant outlets. So I'm going to start out with the ground wire. As you can see, all my wiring, I pre-made these little hooks to go around the terminals. If you're doing this, if you haven't done this already, you'll need to do that now. So I'm going to start out with the ground wire, and I'm going to wrap it around this green terminal down here. When you're wrapping wires around terminals, you want the wiring to be wrapping around in a clockwise direction. The reason for that is if you have it going around in a clockwise direction, as you tighten down that terminal screw, it's going to promote and pull in that wire in closer to the center of the terminal screw, which just makes for a much better connection. So now that I've got my ground all hooked up, now I'm going to connect my white neutral wire over here to this silver terminal screw. On this side where the neutrals would connect, those are going to be silver in color, and then on the other side, these brass colored terminal screws, that's where your black line wire would connect. So I'm going to go ahead and loop this around the terminal screw, again in a clockwise direction, and then just tighten the terminal screw down on top of the wire. So now that my neutral is connected, now I need to flip the outlet over, and I need to connect my black hot wire or line wire to this brass colored screw. So now that first outlet is completely wired up, now I can move on to the second outlet. And the steps for the second outlet are going to be exactly the same as the first outlet. Nothing changes. I'm going to connect the wires in the same order. I'm going to wrap the wires in that clockwise direction around all the terminal screws. And of course, always tightening down any of those terminal screws that are just sticking all the way out for no reason. Now that both my outlets are completely wired up, now I can screw them into the box. Now they're all wired up and installed. Before I put the faceplate on, I'm going to go ahead and turn the power back on. And what I like to do is I like to then take this outlet tester and then test each of these just to make sure everything is wired up correctly. If it is, both of these two lights here on the right will light up. All right, so it appears that everything is wired up correctly. So now I can go ahead and install that faceplate. So that's really all there is to turning one outlet into two. So I hope that that was helpful and in-depth enough and also interesting for you. If it was, please let me know by giving the video a thumbs up and leaving a comment down in the comment section. And of course, if you have any questions at all, feel free to leave those down in the comments and I will try to help as I can. And if you like videos like I did here today, then consider hitting that red subscribe button. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. See ya.